Welcome. We call the August 10th Newman-Crozana Unified School District meeting to order. Roll call. Ms. Gonzalez.
Hi. Here.
Toss me a pen.
Obviously not in practice.
Mr. Walk.
Here.
Mrs. Zerdy.
Here.
Mr. Rivas.
Here.
And Mr. Cabral is here. Item 2, public communication and closed session items. Members of the public may address the board on items not on the agenda. Speakers will be allowed 3 minutes unless the time limit is waived by a majority of the board. The board will allow comments by members of the public on an agenda item during consideration of the item. The board may limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. With board consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public presentation, depending on the topic and number of persons wishing to be heard. The president may take a poll of speakers for or against a particular issue and may ask that additional persons speak only if they have something new to add. Complaints against specific district employees should be resolved through the district's personal complaint procedure. The right to address the board does not exempt the speaker from any potential liability for defamation. The proceedings of the board are recorded and part of the public record. At this time, is there any member of the public wish to address the board on any closed session listed item? All right, seeing none, we'll go to closed session at 5:01 p.m. Welcome. Call the August 10th Newman-Crozana Unified School District Board meeting back in session. Please rise for our flag salute, led tonight by our FFA members.
Ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Item B, report out of action taken in closed session. Nothing tonight. Section 5, public communication, agenda and non-agenda items. Members of the public may address the board on items not on the agenda. Speakers will be allowed 3 minutes unless the time limit is waived by a majority of the board. The board will allow comments by members of the public on an agenda item during consideration of each item. The board may limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. With board consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public presentation, depending on the topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. The president may take a poll of speakers for or against a particular issue and may ask that additional persons speak only if they have something new to add. Complaints against specific district employees should be resolved through the district's personal complaint procedure. The right to address the board does not exempt the speaker from any potential liability of defamation. The proceedings of the board are recorded and are part of the public record. And we have one person speaking tonight, Ms. Mendoza. You could go to the podium.
Good evening. My name is Carolyn Mendoza. I'm a community member and a parent. I emailed the board on Friday, and I hope my questions will be answered during Ms. Tapia's budget update. I'm not here to speak on those issues. I'm here tonight to bring up a concern that came up over the summer. The swim and the water polo coaches recommended that the swimmers use the evening lap swim time to train during the off-season, especially during the no contact period. In seeking out opportunities for off-season training, I was reminded that the current rules for the adult lap swim schedule require participants to be at least 18 years of age and pay the gate fee. While these policies were established before the district had competitive aquatic teams, we now have both swim and water polo teams that rely on the OHS pool as their primary facility. During no contact periods, when direct coaching is unavailable, having a consistent space for independent conditioning is vital to our student athletes. I'm respectfully requesting that the board direct the administration to explore a path for OHS aquatic athletes to access lap swimming for conditioning. Since lifeguards are already on duty during these times and our athletes are highly competent swimmers, this adjustment could provide a valuable resource for student development at no additional cost to the district. We're very proud of our athletic facilities, and I know it's been a high priority for the board to have outstanding athletic facilities, and I believe that allowing our athletes to utilize the pool, much like others use their respective playing fields, will further strengthen the success and the competitive spirit of our programs. Thank you.
Thank you. Could I get item number 6, approval of the agenda? Could I get a motion to approve the agenda as listed?
I make a motion. Okay. Apologize, my mistake. I move item P to action items, please.
Yeah,
Thank
the
you.
new action item will be F. Could I get
Thank
a
you.
second for the approval agenda, moving action item P to F?
I second it.
Thank you, Mr. Walk. Ms. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Mr. Walk?
Aye.
Ms. Rudy?
Aye.
Mr. Rivas? Aye. Ms. Corral, aye. Section 7, information and discussion items. Our student board member for this upcoming season, year, would be Mia Murillo. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Mia Murillo. I'm an upcoming junior this year. I'm really proud to take on this role, to fill in Benicia's shoes. I think it's a great opportunity to take on, and I'm ready for this year to start. On my work report today, I have seniors have just finished painting their parking spots and are ready to kick off the new school year, as well as Newman FFA officers have gone through their summer training and are ready for the new school to be back in session and to meet new and returning members of the FFA. Academically, the math department has received new math curriculum and are ecstatic. We have many new administrations, including new teachers, principals, and assistant principals. The upcoming freshmen just had the roundup to get familiar with the school campus and the upperclassmen, which was ran by the Link crew members. For sports, all fall sports have continued their summer practices and had their tryouts. As well as we had our new track being installed and everyone's excited to see the finished product. Lastly, the first day of school is this Wednesday, the 12th, and as well as senior sunrise will happen early in the morning. Thank you.
Thank you. Good job. Welcome for the school year. 7B, our Newman FFA presentation.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rosario Mendoza, and I'm honored to be serving as this year's Newman FFA Chapter's president. Every year, the officer team decides on a theme to base the year around. This year, my officer team and I chose a theme rooted in tradition, blooming into leaders. The unwritten is ours to write. While it may seem like a very long theme, we chose this theme because we want to keep the traditions and the foundation that shape our chapter. But most importantly, we believe that every member has a story, and that story has not been written yet. Through FFA, each member has the opportunity to create new leadership experiences, develop career-ready skills, develop those leadership qualities that truly make them a leader. The next generation of Newman FFA is unwritten, but it's ours to write together. I will now like to welcome this year's officer team.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kimberly Hurtado. I'm this year's vice president, and I'm a senior this year.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Diego Mendoza, and I'm your current sentinel.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kelly Zapian, and I am the chapter secretary, and I'm a senior.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ilaria Garza. I'm a senior, and I'm serving as this year's chapter treasurer.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Logan Figueroa. I am this year's chapter reporter, and I am a junior.
Hello, my name is Isabella Rodriguez. I'm a junior and this year's parliamentarian.
I'm not sure if we have a clicker, if we can move the presentation forward. Oh, here it is. Never mind. It was under the papers. Okay. So over the summer, as you guys heard, our officer team and I met together and really planned out and discussed what we wanted to accomplish for this school year. And although we each had our own different ideas and personal goals, I think we came to a main idea, which was creating an inclusive chapter where every member truly feels welcome, valued, and encouraged to get involved. Our goal this year is to create a welcoming, obviously inclusive chapter, but we also want to increase our chapter involvement, and that can be done by offering new opportunities like conferences, competitions, leadership events, hands-on experiences, and community service. We also hope to help our members build their confidence, develop new interests, and truly just help them grow into the leaders they are meant to be. While continuing the traditions that makes Newman FFA so special, we want to strengthen the connections and bring in new ideas and create experiences that members will never forget.
Next, we would like to highlight the agriculture education pathways and courses offered at Oristimba High School. Our program provides students with a variety of hands-on learning opportunities that prepares them for careers, colleges, and leadership in agriculture. Our first pathway is a floral pathway, which gives students the opportunity to combine creativity and career-ready skills in the floral industry. We recommend students to begin with ag science and ag biology their freshman and sophomore year, and continue with intro to floral designs and art and history of floral designs their senior and junior year.
The veterinary science pathway prepares students for careers in animal health and veterinary medicine through hands-on learning and science-based instruction. Students build a strong foundation in animal care while developing the knowledge and skills needed for future careers in the veterinary field. It's recommended that students go into ag biology before going into animal science and then following with vet science.
The Ag Mechanics pathway provides students with hands-on experience in welding, metal fabrication, and shop safety. Students develop technical skills while preparing for careers in agriculture mechanics, skill trades, and related industries. This year, we're happy to introduce our brand new Ag Wood 1 and 2 classes. These classes have a sole focus on woodworking skills and carpentry on carpentry skills.
The agricultural pathway combines rigorous science coursework with real-world agricultural applications. Students build a strong foundation in biology and chemistry while exploring sustainable agriculture, preparing them for college and careers in agricultural, environmental science, biotechnology, and related STEM fields. The core sequence for this is ag science, ag biology, ag chemistry, and ag honors.
We're excited to share several new improvements and initiatives that will enhance student learning and continue the growth of the OHS Agricultural Department and Newman FFA program. We would like to highlight some students for their showmanship at Fair this year. Miles Costa for first place in novice turkey showmanship and Diego Mendoza for third place in intermediate turkey showmanship. We would also like to thank the district for purchasing our pigs and turkeys. We had 7 students show lambs this year and 1 student show a goat. 14 pigs were shown representing Newman FFA.
This summer, our very own Ag Advisors built a new walk-in cooler. This cooler is dedicated to the OHS Floral Design Program. The Floral Design Program is constantly growing, and with the new interest, Ms. Ritz will be taking on a full schedule of floral design classes. This walk-in cooler just truly gives our students their hands-on experiences and the resources they need.
This summer, ag teachers and students out at the school farm helped set up and build an industrial-grade shade curtain to help keep the temperature in the barn to a minimum, so the pigs are more comfortable and not as hot during the summer months. Especially since pigs don't sweat, this is pretty important to them.
This summer, we re-leveled the entire OHS school farm with the generous support of HMC Farm Services and the Newman FFA alumni and parents. This project greatly improved drainage and water management, created a much more functional space for student learning, and prepared the site for a large garden bed project, which will begin in fall 2026.
This summer, our agricultural department purchased two 10 by 12 foot mobile chicken coops, which were built by our very own ag teachers. The coops will relocate our laying hens to the school farm, creating a better learning environment for students. Each coop houses up to 60 laying hens or 80 broiler chickens and features a walk-in door, movable wheels, roosting bars, and a predator-resistant design. This addition expands hands-on learning opportunities and supports the continued growth of our agriculture program.
Throughout this school year, students will be given the opportunity to participate in hands-on projects, leadership development, competitions, community service, and chapter events.
This year, our animal science students will be completing a feeder hog project. They'll raise pigs from start to finish while learning about animal care, nutrition, health, and daily management. This project gives students real-world experience in the swine industry and expands the hands-on learning opportunities we offer through the OHS Agriculture Program.
This year, we are continuing our Oris Demba Bloom monthly floral subscriptions. Community members can receive a student-made floral arrangement each month from the months of October through April. It is a great way to enjoy fresh flowers while supporting our FFA design program. We also offer custom arrangements for holidays, events, gifts, weddings, and other special occasions.
We're so excited to begin the second year of our zero-period agriculture leadership class. Last year, 36 students participated, and this year we've started off with 28 students enrolled. How this class works is students meet up every morning at 7 a.m. until their first period in order to prepare for FFA events, organize fundraisers, prepare for competitions, and also build leadership skills, all while supporting our Newman FFA chapter.
This year, we're excited to introduce our new agricultural wood pathway. After completing Ag Mechanics 1, students can continue into Ag Wood 1 and Ag Wood 2, where they'll develop woodworking skills through hands-on projects. Students will learn tool safety, measuring, and project planning, woodworking techniques, craftsmanship, and construction skills that prepare them for careers in the skilled trades and woodworking industry.
Our laying hen project gives students hands-on experience in poultry production as well as helps them build real-life agricultural skills. Through this project, students gain the responsibility like flock care, egg collection, and daily management, which teaches them about agriculture business practices. Some of the eggs that are collected from this project are actually sold to our school staff members as well as our community members. This teaches students how to connect this project with agriculture, entrepreneurship, and as well as service in a real world project. We've actually brought some eggs for you guys today, which some of my members will be passing out to you guys in just a moment.
Throughout the year, Newman FFA hosts a variety of fundraisers that support student leadership, travel opportunities, and agricultural education. Our major annual fundraisers include the calendar blackout, floral subscriptions, pie sales, Thanksgiving turkey sales, the Ag Booster crab feed, and popcorn sales. These events help provide meaningful experiences for our students while strengthening the community involvement and support for the program.
Newman FFA provides students with opportunities to develop leadership, communication, and career-ready skills by competing in a variety of career and leadership development events. This year, students will be competing in parliamentary procedure, best informed green hand, veterinary science, auctioneering, veggie crop judging, job interview, extemporaneous public speaking, a credo speaking, creed speaking, improv public speaking, and prepared public speaking.
As we end off our presentation, we want to thank the Newman-Curls Landing Unified School District for your support. Anything we do would not be possible without your support. We're so excited for this exciting school year, full of success, as we prepare the next generation of agricultural leaders.
Thank you, guys. Great presentation by the FFA. Item 7C, our bond project update by Mr. Vargas.
Good evening, Superintendent Pruitt, Board President Cabral, members of our school board, staff, and community. I would like to start by sharing just some of the projects that have been taking place this summer. I'm going to start with one of our larger bond projects. It's important to note that when we went out to bid on the high school track project, our architectural engineered estimate was $5.5 million. And I got to be honest, that has scared me from that bid because there's tracks that are being put in that cost almost $10 million. So even at $5.5 million, I still felt that was going to be high, and I was afraid of that. But thankfully, we bid it at a great time where we had multiple contractors show up. So it created a very healthy, competitive bidding environment. So as you recall, you accepted a bid from TBS Contractors for $2.1 million. Now, why does that number sound very enticing? That was actually less than half of our estimated estimate from the engineer. So at 2.1, we have had the approval, thanks to your support, of adding some additional base rock and some other elements to the track. We've also, in our last board meeting, approved the color selection, which I did bring some samples that I'll share here in just a moment. What's really important to note is even with an upcoming change order, which we're anticipating of roughly $100,000 to add a designated shot put and discus area for our field athletes, even with that number, we're going to be less than half of the engineered estimate. So I am excited about that because the money we save can go towards other projects across our district, which I'll be talking about. I do want to give you an opportunity to hear. Some of you have taken the time, a few of our staff members. I have seen them, and I love that they're so intrigued. Mia, I'm excited that you and your students at the high school are excited about what the track's going to turn out to be. And what I'll say is where we're at right now, we are right on schedule. We had dropped asphalt just over 2 weeks ago, the asphalt on top of that rock that you had approved. And the asphalt is our structure. It's our base for the all-weather surfacing. So it's just like a home. Your home is only as solid as your foundation that it's built on. So one of the things that had to be done right was the base, the asphalt, and that asphalt has petroleum, and it needs to off-gas. And we talked about that. It's a 4-week process, and we're halfway there. So I'm excited to share with everyone in the room, including our school board, that in 2 weeks, on Monday the 24th of August, we will be putting down the all-weather surface. Now that process does take a couple of weeks, and then they'll get into painting and striping, doing all the cool graphics, all the running lanes and so forth. So it's not going to look like much on the week of the 24th, but what I really want you guys to be excited about is where this product is going to finish. It's going to finish just like our Warriors, strong and in first place. And what I'd like to do is start with Mia, who did a wonderful first presentation tonight. Congratulations. And I'm going to ask that you pass these down to the board so that they can see our track. And so Mr. Pruitt and I have been talking about how important this investment is, not just to our taxpayers and our school board and our students, but also to our community. So one of the things that we've talked about is how we can protect this investment. One of the things the manufacturer recommended after we investigated the type of product that we wanted to invest in is investing in mats that go over the all-weather track for our cheerleaders, for our football players, for athletes playing soccer to get on and off the grass field without damaging the actual track surface. So for example, any of you that have run track before, you run with spikes. Spikes don't do any damage to an all-weather surface, but cleats actually can do damage. So we're going to be investing. In fact, Mr. Pruitt joined me on a measurement walk. We did it together. We measured, and we even over-measured to make sure we're covered, to have enough matting down to protect all the areas of the track that folks will cross, including athletes and cheerleaders. And I consider cheerleaders athletes because I think they do more flips than the football team does. So I just want to share, we are on schedule. You're going to see a lot happen in 2 weeks. Currently, the irrigation is still completing on the field. It will be done by the end of this week, because next week we have a whole lot of football going on. We have girls flag football on the 18th, the 19th, and a tournament on the 22nd. That is a Saturday. On the 21st, it's our first Warrior varsity home football scrimmage. And those athletes will need to cross over the asphalt. Remember, the rubber will not go down to the 24th. We purposely moved the rubber back just a couple of days to allow for our athletes to compete. Sure, we could have rushed the rubber, but then we would have lost the opportunity to host those home games. So we will be playing some flag football 18th, 19th, 22nd, and Warrior football night with this big scrimmage is on the 21st. So I talked about the pathway of mats. I talked a little bit about the irrigation. We are getting a brand new irrigation system on the field. As you may recall, roughly a year and a half ago, we invested into a new hybrid Bermuda turf field. And some of you may wonder, Mr. Vargas, why didn't you guys invest in synthetic turf or plastic grass? And there's a reason. If you've watched the news lately, schools that have vested millions of dollars into artificial grass, like you'd see in the NFL, are dealing with lawsuits from injuries, heat-related burns, and the field is not really playable in the Central Valley when the turf gets 125 degrees. So what we invested in at a cost of $200,000 was basically golf course grass. It's hybrid Bermuda. It's one of the most repairable grasses you can invest in. And what's great about it, you mow it low. It's a fast field. It stays green almost year round. And when it doesn't, when it goes into its dormancy, we invest into a rye seed at a cost of about $8,000 to overseed the entire field. And that's what gets us through the soccer season, through the winter months. Not because we need it to play, but we like our field to be green. So that's that investment. I do want to point out that the berm irrigation will kind of be pushed back a little bit, and that's because we need this field safe and playable. We need the track ready for track season. And I did hear, I don't know if it's true or not, but I did hear there was going to be, the first race was going to be the school board running on the track. So if you haven't stretched or run in a while, I would recommend get ready, because we're about 6 weeks away from that race. I'm just kidding. I do want to move on and talk a little bit about the PA system in the stadium. Many of you that have attended a home football game, at least back when I played, you might have heard my name called, but then heard an echo of, Matt. And the reason is the speakers that were put in the stadium years ago are focal speakers to the stands. They come from your left and right. And it's dynamically perfect if you're sitting at the 50-yard line in the middle of the field. You hear the sound like a headset. But what if you're sitting far left or far right? The problem is you hear the left speaker first, but then you hear the second from the right about a second later. So you hear everything twice. So what we've done, Mr. Pruitt and I discussed reaching out to 10-4 Communications, and this is one of those times where we were walking the field and the rep from 10-4 happened to show up that day. And I hadn't even called him yet. He came out and said, hey, can I offer you anything? And I says, well, yeah, we'd love to get a proposal on updating the speakers in the stadium. And he goes, well, you got nice speakers. And we agreed, but they're in the wrong location. So we entertained a non-costly proposal to add speakers from the press box out. So when the announcer is calling the game, everyone will hear the sound coming down on them instead of from left and right. So it's going to increase the PA system sound quality, and I think overall the experience of being at a football game, a soccer game, flag football, is going to be better for our fans. So that project starts tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. So I'm excited about that. Talked about the Von Renner, also a bond project, engineered estimate for our classroom wing. And Mr. Rivas, I want to compliment and thank you for being patient. I know it's been years that we have talked as a district about removing portables 15 through 23. Many of you, some of you in the room may have actually gone to school in rooms 15 through 23. I know for me, those were classrooms that were here in 1975 when I was at Von Renner. And though I had a great experience at that time, it's because those buildings were new at that time. They are no longer new. They need to be replaced. And we did a job walk just last week, and I'm excited to say that on the 26th of this month, we will be opening bids for what we had was a great turnout. Multiple contractors turned out for this bid walk. And it's required to be able to bid on the job to show up. And we were very impressed. We had about 12 contractors, general contractors that showed up. They were all excited about the project. They have enjoyed, some of them have worked for Newman Schools. And even though the engineered estimate is $8 million, the building, for example, right behind us, our Von Renner cafeteria, that building was approximately $10 million. So you can get an idea, a building that's 10,000 square foot, this one's gonna be 9,700 square foot. It'll run about 10 million, but the engineered estimate came in at 8 million. And what's great about that, when you have what's called competitive bidding, everybody wants this job. And so someone who would have normally bid 8 will bid 7.5. Someone who may have bid 7.5 will bid 7. That benefits all of you as taxpayers. It allows us to use those funds for any change orders or additional projects across our district. Because remember, the bond funds don't have to be used at one school. In fact, they should be used at all of our schools. And that's one of the goals of Mr. Pruitt and the Oversight Committee, to make sure that we're using the bond money properly. So the Von Renner project will be bringing that bid to you at the September 14th board meeting for your review and or approval. And all I could tell you is, if it is a respectful bid and you do approve, Mr. Rivas, I would like to invite you for demo day, because it's going to be a very special day as we say goodbye to all the raccoons that have lived under those buildings for years. We're also in the process looking for reaching out to qualified contractors for a district-wide electric vehicle upgrade district-wise. I know I spoke about this back in May, and we talked about the impact on the district, what we're paying for electricity for people to be able to come and charge. And we want to give that opportunity for people to charge their electric vehicle. We're not against that. But it's affecting the M&O budget that needs to be used for other things, other facility, utilities. And so I will be coming back, it'll probably be next month, with more information on that, but we are very close to going out to a public bid, and I do expect many electrical contractors to show up for this job walk once we announce the date. We've actually considered September 2nd and September 9th, and I want you to know why there's 2 dates. The goal whenever you go out to bid on a capital project is you want the contractors to be available. So if Modesto City Schools and Turlock, Joint Unified, and Patterson is all going out to bid that same week, it doesn't matter what the project is. Their projects are usually bigger than ours. So all the big contractors go to those job walks. So we're strategic. We want to make sure we get anybody and everybody that has the potential to be qualified to bid on our projects. We want them to show up. So if we have to move it from the 2nd to the 9th, we're going to do that. And my goal, my commitment to this board is that we're going to get the work done. We're going to get quality work for a great price. And so we're going to be strategic in how we go about that. I would like to speak just briefly about the Beyond the Bell Learning Center, which I know Ms. Cassidy and Juana, they want to run a very successful program, and they have been in need of a learning center, a facility where, you know, their staff, they can have kind of a home base. And the good news on that is the funding source is there. Ms. Cassidy worked hard to apply for that, and we're very close. We have sent our plans to a modular company who will assist us in not only designing, but doing concept designs that are approved by DSA quickly. So for example, Ms. Cassidy and I met last week briefly, and we spoke about the need she had for a washer and dryer. And I couldn't promise her a washer and dryer in the building, but I did commit to making sure we have hookups for a washer and dryer. So it's like if you buy a house, if it didn't have a washer and dryer hookup, you're paying a whole lot more money later to add it. So we got that approved. You're hearing that for the first time. We have that approved, and the reason that's approved is the modular company is going to be able to add that in. We have a spot for it. We'll hook up the water, hook up the sewer line, not a problem. So all we really need is once the modular company sends what's called their concept drawing, we make a walk-in appointment with DSA, and DSA, for a building such as this, it's not like 12 classrooms. We're able to go in and say, take a look at it, let us know if there's something you want us to change. If you're good, will you stamp it? Once they stamp it, we go out to public bid. We advertise for 2 weeks, we do a job walk, we bid. But I want to be clear, I mentioned modular. The whole design of this building is going to be that it will look like the rest of the Barrington campus. You will not know that it was added, similar to the library. So the library that we added a few years after the school was built, I believe 2017, has stucco. It has a roof pitch, an 8-pitch roof, just like the rest of the school. So it fits, and that's what this building will do. The difference when you hear the word modular, keep one thing in mind. When you build a building on a school ground, you pay prevailing wage for everyone, every trade that's on the job. When you can build off-site and bring in part of the building, you only pay the cost to set that part of the building. So you end up getting more for your money, and structurally, the building, the designs of modular have come a long way. And the concept will be that the stucco, the roof line, everything will look like an existing building. And I'm excited to share that with not only you, but Ms. Cassidy and her team, because it's been something they've been needing for a long time. So I do have just one brief update with regard to the CTE building at the high school. We did get from Joel, I know Cynthia, you've been working as well with Joel, our consultant, our financial consultant. We got a great score, and now we just need to wait to get back word on our funding to make sure we're going to be fully funded for the project. And we're not too far away from that. And what's great about that building is, first of all, it's a great design. It's Kevin and his team at the high school. This shop is going to be an addition to the great things that you already see going on at the high school. I know in the FFA presentation, they showed the chilling unit to be able to keep their flowers chilled. This is going to be dynamically very similar to that. It's going to have elements where that they can weld and they can do woodworking, whatever they need to do, but in a great learning environment that is built just for that. And so I hope to have more information on that. And other than that, just a quick facility update. Yesterday or Friday, OHS Pool had its annual health department inspection from Stanislaus County, And as I shared with some of our staff members, we were honored to receive a 100% score. Only 3 other pools in Stanislaus County received that score. Last year we had a 99. That was something very exciting. And the year before we had a perfect score, but the pool was new, so that was pretty easy. I only shared that because when I spoke to Sergio, the inspector, one thing he pointed out is that he also inspects our kitchens at our schools. He just noted that the pride that we take in our facilities is obvious because he sees all the schools in the county. I only see one. So for him to have those kind of words for our staff and the people maintaining our facilities, that came, I took that to heart, and I hope you do too. School kiddos come back Wednesday, and we are ready. Our maintenance department has been working all summer. We have a couple little bugs that we're working out. Staff, as they come back, we may find a few things that need to be addressed, but I'm excited to share we're going to be ready to go. And I do want to point out, usually September, October, I'll give you a Williams/fire inspection report. That is coming up. So we usually do very well in those inspections because our staff, one of our priorities is health and safety for the welfare of all of our staff and students. So I hope to bring that report to you within a couple of months, and I'll leave the floor open for if anyone has any questions or comments about these or any other projects you may be wondering about.
Any questions or comments for Mr. Vargas?
I'll be there for demo day.
Okay, I will let you know that morning for sure, or before the morning.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
7D, Prop 28 presentation by Mrs. Stearns.
Good evening. I'm Mrs. Stearns, Renee Stearns. I teach at Orriston High School, and I'm here tonight to tell you a little bit about Prop 28 and what it is and kind of where it goes. So, Prop 28 was passed in 2022, and it guarantees 1% of the district budget goes towards arts education, visual and performing arts. It helps to supplement, in addition to what we had already been doing, new programs for the visual and performing arts. It helps to pay for salaries and for materials and supplies. We were pretty lucky to begin with because Mr. Lane and I have been in the district for around 20 years, and we have always felt incredibly well supported in this district when it comes to the arts. So we were lucky to already work in a small school district that had valued the arts. But this has allowed us to expand, and we have expanded exponentially. So in addition to the visual art teachers behind me, which you'll meet tonight, this prop also helps to support a part-time drama teacher at YOLO, a part-time drama teacher at Orriston, a full-time music teacher at both YOLO and Orriston. So altogether it represents about 10 different programs that you have K through 12 here in the district. And we feel extraordinarily lucky in this district because districts can use this money how they see fit. And in our district, since the proposition has come up, we have been lucky enough to be allowed to suggest how we think the funds would best be served for the students. And so we're very thankful to have a partnership with the district office that allows us to come together as a team and kind of give suggestions as to where we think the funds would do the best good for our district. So tonight you're going to get to meet your visual arts team, which is behind me here, and we're going to start with our elementary school teachers.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mia Ball. I teach art at Von Renner and Benita, TK through 5. Just to give you a little background, the kids come in once a week for about 45 minutes. We do our art thing, and then the next one comes in, and they go back to their regular class. A few of our students up there. That opening slide was a ceramic mosaic that if you go to the old front of the school, there was this big planter box, and as you can see, and so a year or so ago, we worked with a Modesto artist, Karen Kingsbury, and she offered her services to help us out with this mosaic. Each kid did either a flower or a leaf. It was a collaborative effort with all of our art teachers because we would take them to YOLO or to Oristimba to have them fired in the kiln. And I think it turned out great, and the kids each got to be a little part of it. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Celeste Bautista. I teach art at both Hunt and Barrington. I also do TK through 5th. I was very fortunate that last year was my first year in this position. A lot of what Mia said about the kids coming in for 45 minutes, switching out, that applies the same with me as well. Inside the classroom, I mainly focus on the elements of art currently. I am looking forward to staying in this position so I can grow upon that as the years continue. With the kiddos, part of what I do with the students is individual projects where they're working on skills that they're improving themselves, as well as collaborative projects. So here you'll see art displays that were done throughout the year for like the holidays. The Christmas display here was for our Christmas program where the kids got to perform and sing, and we did a gingerbread themed decoration. So all the students participated in making that, I'm going to call it mural-esque project. The littles helped with the TKs and Ks helped with making candies that we put throughout the display, and then kindergarten and first grade made little gingerbread people, and then the upper grades worked on making gingerbread houses, and they got so creative with it. They actually made like lots of different buildings. I saw some of them make a gingerbread Starbucks and gingerbread hospitals, and really I just provided them ideas and they just ran with it. Very, very creative. Another time where we did a collaborative display was towards the end of the year for open house at both sites. The students, all students in both sites, so that's like almost 900 students, made a small portrait. The younger ones had more direction, but the older ones got to be as independent with it as they liked. They could showcase a skill they had learned during art, or they could showcase a character or a design that they had liked, maybe something inspired by an artist we had learned about, or if there was just something they really liked drawing and wanted to display that for their parents. So we made what I was calling a mini art show or a tiny art show. They got to do a 4x4 design, and that was displayed for the entire school to see during their open house. Aside from collaborating with each other at their sites, we've started to kind of branch out. So one of the projects that I did in collaboration with the school counselor at Barrington, she actually approached me and I was more than thrilled to help her with it, was having the kids participate in reaching out to the community with their artwork. So for the Random Act of Kindness Week, each student from third through 5th created either a puzzle piece that was with their grade level turned into a heart, or they're not displayed, but there were like some banner looking ones, and they got put out in the community. So we have like at Pizza Plus, we had at Pioneer, we had at the Newman Library. I think one was even displayed here, but I'm not sure. But we had them throughout the community in collaboration. I think they also did sleeves for the Starbucks, where they had those where the kids drew or designed messages. So the arts program has been also combining with other programs in the school and then also reaching out with the community.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Fernando Rios, and I teach Art 1 and Art 2 at YOLO Middle School. I'm really happy to be able to share a few examples of what we do in our art program each year. I teach approximately 150 to 160 students across my Art 1 and Art 2 classes. As you can see, a few pictures that really show the variety of projects and experiences we provide for our students. The first picture is a project where students create their own billboards up there on the top left. They can choose to promote almost anything they're interested in, a movie, a new product, designer clothing, a video game, fashion, a brand, or anything else they can imagine. We talk about the types of advertisements and designs they see when they're driving down the freeway. And then students create their own version to where it all aligns to the elements and principles of art and design. The next picture is a panther painting. As you can see, I made that using a scratch piece of cardboard, and I did our logo, basically our panther. For this project, we also incorporate materials that might otherwise be thrown away. We collect cardboard from boxes and other materials that come into school, and we find creative ways to reuse them in our artwork. That leads to the next picture on the top bottom right, which is a machine, really great. It's a new addition to our program. I like to compare it to a wood shop. Instead of putting pieces of wood through the machine, we're working with cardboard and using it to create different shapes, designs, and projects. It gives students another way to turn an everyday material into something creative. We also do African math projects, that something we've been able to collaborate on with our history teachers. It gives students an opportunity to connect what they're learning in history with that they creating in art. Another picture shows me with a group of students during our snack and paint program. Left to your bottom left, that right there is me basically doing a silhouette painting after school with the Beyond the Bell, our after school program, and students get to come in and create art in a relaxed environment. I teach them different painting techniques, including silhouettes and other designs. And we also have opportunities through our clubs, including Mr. Esteban Gomez, where students can continue creating and exploring art outside of their regular class time. These are just a few examples of what we do. We have many other projects through the year, and what I really love about our program is the students get to experiment, be creative, reuse materials, collaborate with other programs and teachers, and most importantly, have fun while they're learning. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share a little bit about our art program.
I'm going to get a little nervous, but my name is Esteban Gomez. I am a Newman Crows Landing alumni. I moved here around 2010? No, 2000, what? I'm old. But I went to Hunt, I went to YOLO, I went to OHS, and I started the ceramics program at the middle school. I love ceramics. Miss Stearns is actually the one that made me fall in love with ceramics and made me become a teacher because I loved it. And I wanted to bring back to my community. I moved all over California and just wanted to bring this program to YOLO and show the kids that they can make things with their hands and be collaborative. And yeah, with this program, I think we started out a little rough. Everybody was brand new to clay, and it's a little scary to make something with your hands and then make something that may not look the best. But then as you go on, we progressively get better. With my Ceramics 2 program, we're able to get our kids to make Catrinas, as the one you see in the middle. That is from our Ceramics 2 program when we did our Dia de los Muertos project, and they get to choose between different themes. It's Dia de los Muertos, Halloween, and the monarch migration that happens in October, and we talk about all of those things. The project to the left is our food project. Like Mr. Rios said, we do work with Beyond the Bell, giving access to all of our students who don't have access to art materials at home. We give them the opportunity on Thursdays and Fridays to work for 3 hours, get the experience, and even if they're not taking our class, they're more than welcome to come in, make something, and just learn a new technique. But yeah, is this the button?
I got one more slide.
Awesome. So one of the cool things that we started doing with ceramics is creating an adaptive art class. These are our students who are extensive needs students that have problems with textures. They have problems with fine motor skills. So what we ended up doing year one when we got our students was to introduce them to a new environment, a new space, and get them used to being in a classroom, something that they were not used to when they were in Patterson. And so what we built up is we would have student council come in and work with our students and make our project 1 to 2 times a week, and getting them used to having other students around them and building relationships with other kids around school. We've gotten to the point where last year we finally had a good amount of students in the class to build a relationship, so when our students are able to go to the high school, they have a buddy. And this year we have about 6 or 8 students in the class additional to them, so that when they all transition over to high school, they have some sort of friend to get started and to introduce to their friend group. And we saw a huge growth with our 8th graders this year on the 8th grade trip, at the dances, making friends with our Gen Ed Pop, and just getting them assimilated to our school. And I think that's it. Yeah, awesome.
Good evening. My name is Gabby Lane. I wasn't prepared to speak today. They didn't tell me I was going to say anything, so that's how that goes for me. I started in 2008, and it was just me and Mrs. Stearns in this whole community. We were the only art teachers, and I want to piggyback off of what Mr. Vargas said. From day one, we talked about pride in our facilities, in our campuses, and the community had so much pride in the work that their kids did in everything, athletics, in the arts, and their academics. So art has always been really, really well supported, and we are so grateful to have such a strong team. Like I said, there was 2 of us, now there's 10. Miss Ball's daughter was one of my students, and now she's doing art. Miss Bautista was one of my students, and now she's teaching art. Mr. Gomez was one of my students teaching art. A couple of the teachers in Patterson were my students, and they're doing art. So I'm very, very proud of that. I'm proud of the community that we've created. I'm proud of this community and what we do. It's fantastic. And the support that we get with Prop 28, the support that we get from you is how this stuff happens. And so there's a little bit of artwork up there on the wall, some of the stuff that we do. I normally do drawing and painting, but the pictures I took were all 3-dimensional. That's just the way it went this time. But long story short, we thank you for your support. It's making a huge difference in this community, and it has been part of this community since day one. And you guys are awesome. I'm so proud of us and what we do.
See, he wants to do the 3D art, is what he's saying, is that he wishes he could do 3D art like I do. So I've been at Orristimba for 21 years. I'm the ceramics teacher there. And again, I was able to build a program. It started with 1 freshman elective course and ended up building it to 3 level 1 classes, 2 level 2 classes, and a level 3/4. So I have some students that are with me for all 4 years of high school. And because we've built a pathway now, a vertical pathway, if the students complete 2 years of visual art with either Mr. Rios or Mr. Gomez at the middle school and are recommended as being exceptional art students, they get to skip the level 1 course at the high school. And so it's been kind of really fun to see freshmen in our level 2 courses coming in right away and taking it very seriously, which just means we get to do advanced art with them even more. So it starts with the elementary school people, with them getting a foundation in art now. We haven't quite seen Mia's first students at the high school yet, but I know the middle school teachers have, and so we look forward to just teaching students that are even more well-versed in the visual arts by the time they get to us at the high school. So, so I do a Loteria card project with my intermediate students. That's what's on the left. The upper right is an advanced sculpture that was made that ended up going into several county art shows and our local art show and did quite well. It was a pretty amazing piece. And then on the bottom in the back there is a new kiln. So it replaced a kiln that was 20 years old. And so Prop 28 funding, we're very thankful for that because that's a pretty big piece of equipment, and yet it's a workhorse. I've already put it through its paces, and it's still shiny. So that's our ceramics program. In addition to that, Mr. Lane and I take 2 field trips every year, and we have even before Prop 28. We take one really small field trip in the fall for juniors and seniors that we think might want to be an art major or minor, and we take them to see Modesto Junior College's art program and Stanislaus State's art program. So we like to show them what's right in their own backyard. A lot of them have ideas of going someplace far away or to maybe a more expensive private art school, but we like to show them what's right here available to them. So we take a small group. This is our big field trip. We take about 50 students, and we have for well over 10 years. And we take them to either the Museum of Modern Art or to the D. Young Museum in Golden Gate Park. And this is an invitation for our advanced visual art students and ceramic students. And it is a blast. We have such a good time taking them. And then to layer on top of that, we've invited our visual art teachers, now that we have oodles of us, to come be the chaperones. And so they have been coming now for 3 years with us, and that just adds another layer of not only chaperoning, but having it with people that understand what we're there for the day. So it's a really amazing field trip, but transportation's expensive, and again, Prop 28 is really, we're super thankful for that. This year, last spring marked our 4th annual West Side Art Competition. This is a collaboration between Patterson, Newman, and Gustine, and we have some Sacred Heart entries some years. We have OLM entries. It's a juried art exhibit, and it allows us to showcase the arts right here on the West Side. There's a lot of opportunities at the high school level for us to have our students enter their artwork into those shows, and we love that. We love going over to Modesto and dominating a 3D category or winning advanced painting. We love that, and they go, Oristimba, where? You know, like, we like that. We like coming in as maybe the dark horse to some of the larger districts that are in Stanislaus County, but we really wanted to just highlight what was right here and give all the people that are local the opportunity to see not only the amazing art program that we have here in Newman, but also highlight Patterson and Gustine as well. So that's been really fun to collaborate with them, and it just continues to grow each year. And so that's been awesome as well. I think I have one more. A couple more pictures of the art show. So, and it's K through 12, the art show is. So we wanted to make sure that we included our entire district. So anyway, we bring the razzle dazzle to the district. We bring the glitter. So that's it, your arts team.
Thank you, guys. 7E, our revised 26-27 budget by Ms. Tapia.
Sorry, let me just see if I can get this without spitting into the mic. Good evening, Superintendent Pruitt, Board President Cabral, and esteemed board members. So today I have one item to present to you. Let me just position myself here. So Education Code Section 42127 Subdivision H allows districts to revise their budget within 45 days of the enactment of the state budget. The 26-27 budget was signed on June 29, 2026, and therefore this evening we wish to present a few updated assumptions to the budget that was adopted by the board in June. I will say that unlike other fiscal mandated reports, the 45-day budget revise does not have a CDE template that we need to follow or a format specifically that we need to follow. And it typically doesn't go into a deep dive of redoing the budget either. It really is a high level, significant items that we want to incorporate before we get to the first interim, which you all know you see that until December. So the budget revised format for discussion this evening is really a high-level summary of Form 01 with the highlighted changes and the assumptions and expenditures since the last version that you all were presented in June. I believe you might have a printed version. Hopefully this is somewhat visible. No printed version? But I'll go through it in the order of which they are listed as bullet points down at the bottom. In the revenue side, we're adding an assumption of 1.44% additional LCFF investment to the base grant only. This equates about 593,661 in additional revenue in the unrestricted side. Additionally, we're estimated a one-time student support and professional development discretionary block grant, which we'll refer to as SSPD block grant, at approximately $930 per ADA, which equates to 2.6. In this amount, I do have to say it's in addition to the $898,856 that we actually received in this fiscal year, 25-26. This newly added SSPD block grant has a spending deadline through June 30th of 2032. In the expense side, there was adjustments made to the unrestricted certificated salaries, including the reduction of the learning director at Barrington, who was shifted to a Hunt Elementary principal. Additionally, there was a shift of the district-wide substitute from unrestricted to restricted salaries. Also, there was an increase to the assumptions of substitute costs. So one of the reasons why we're being given the 1.44 additional LCFF investment is to ensure that we can capture some of the costs of an upcoming employer-paid pregnancy disability leave, which will go into effect January 1st, 2027. This new paid leave can potentially mean paid leave up to 14 weeks with a doctor's note. This newly added cost will be closely monitored throughout this year to hopefully create a baseline for future projections. Right now, we took a conservative approach. I believe we are projecting about 5 substitute costs or 5 leaves with substitute costs up to 14 weeks. Mind you, it's for half a year. Keep in mind this will not go into effect until January 1st, 2027. And we'll just be monitoring what our patterns are going to be like and assessing some of historical context as well. So you'll most likely see an update on the substitute costs when we bring it back for first interim. In the restricted certificated salaries, there was an increase due to the coordinator of student support and new teacher development position, as well as a previously mentioned district-wide substitute, both of which will be covered by the SSPD block grant. Overall, in both the unrestricted and restricted employee benefits category, there were changes driven by those positions adjustments that we just mentioned. But more importantly, we also made the necessary budget adjustments to account for statutory benefits that were not budgeted during budget adoption. As you may recall, there were some adjustments that we needed to be done between the public hearing and the adopted budget hearing or adopted budget meeting, of which the county suggested we capture at the 45 days. So we are ensuring that we do that at this moment instead of waiting to first interim. All this alignment was brought us all current with what we anticipate this year's statutory costs will be. I see a paper coming down the way. Okay. In services and operating expenses, we had an increase once again due to an adjustment. So this adjustment is specifically associated to the school resource officer's contract. I do want to point out that we have left a very conservative 25,000 placeholder, just in the event that we wanted a contract for very specific events or reasons. So really the difference of $137K is to true up the cost to now a reestablished ongoing contract for this fiscal year. In the restricted side, you also see a $270K assumption for special education student transportation, which was also noted as have been unbudgeted during adopted budget, which drives also the increase in the local contribution to special education budget. So with all these changes, the overall net increase to the unrestricted fund balance is $228,682, which slightly increases the overall reserve percentage. However, it is worth noting that the 45-day budget revise still shows a 2.2 structural deficit projected for 26-27, So we don't want to move away from our overall goal, which is to have a break-even and balanced budget. That's what I have prepared, but I'll take questions.
So for the 1.44 LCFF, you're predicting 5 leaves total? That's like what you're...
We're using half of a year, 5 full 14 weeks, substitute cost like a full day.
And then if there's more than that, like more than the 593,000, I've heard then the district has to eat that cost, correct?
That is correct. Yeah, that is expected. This is really to alleviate the ongoing costs. And if you think about it, we're building in that percentage into our LCFF base. So it is by nature ongoing. San Jose County is actually contemplating having a very specific localized resource code for us to track it a little bit separately. As many of us don't really have much, there's not a scientific way of predicting. So we're all kind of leading by whatever guidance we're given at this moment. And one of the things that worked well after May revise, which is the last time that we brought information to you for budget adoption, was that they pushed it out for implementation into January 1st, 2027, which gives districts a little bit more time to kind of seek legal advice, to kind of do a little bit more statistical assessments and whatnot, and see what the communities, how other districts are really approaching it. Originally, this was going to be effective July 1st of 2026. So really the costs that we're currently projecting in the substitute expense, it really is just half of a year for about 5 teachers, up to 14 weeks. But we do anticipate of that cost probably going a little bit up. Like I said, it's a very specific type of leave. It's doctor driven. So it's not that we will probably see more leaves. There might just be more prolonged leaves. We're not allowed to charge any other type of leave during those 14 weeks, so they do have proper notice. So it could potentially mean someone being out beyond those 14 weeks, and we just need to start accounting for that.
And then for our reserves, so increase to 4.97%. When do we anticipate being, so the district board mandated 8%?
We're probably looking at 4th year out at this point, depending on what decisions that's with. As you always know, we don't project any reductions. That decision is made as we start settling in the year. So that's very much keeping the same structure of personnel that we currently have, and having that conversation going into the year once we understand enrollment, and obviously having a couple of months into what our revenue is going to look like driven by enrollment. So it's very much driven by only the reductions that we had, or the natural attrition that we had this past year.
Yeah, because I get, like, for me, the issue is like last year, getting us to 8% was like the main goal. We made all these cuts, and then it didn't help us. In the end, it kind of just put us back to the same spot that we were in. I mean, in the year and a half that I've been on the board, we've never hit the 8%. I don't think just in the 2.5 years you've been superintendent, we've hit the 8%. I mean, it's kind of a rhetorical question, but I don't even know if last year we've hit 8% reserves. And, you know, to me, it's a very important number. It's a board mandated number, and we need to do everything we can to get to that number. So.
Yeah, no, we're definitely in agreement, and we're definitely starting the year with that lens in mind and having conversations very early on. And to be honest, having Mr. Kano added to our cabinet has been very significant. We're talking about moving up deadlines as far as understanding structural staff needs. Just conversations that should be happening a little bit earlier on in the year, with potentially being able to have a clearer picture by January. And really only relying on January governor's information to really build out from there. That's really something that's top in mind, and something that we've been having conversations throughout the summer, and even in the few cabinet meetings that we've had so far, that we do need to start addressing in that manner. I will say that the board policy that currently exists does allow for a 1% increase back to 8%. It does not have a leeway as how many years it's going to take you to get back to 1%, but we are in target to continue to increase it at 1%. Given at the current projections. Of course, those projections will be updated once we bring back First Interim with a little bit more information about how this year is looking.
Yeah, I mean, since I've been following, it just seems to like improve and then go back, and then improve and go back. So, I mean, to improve it to 1% and then go back 1%, kind of end up in the same spot. So.
No, you're right. Mathematically, we ended up in the same spot that we sort of originally projected to be away from, but you're correct. Any other questions, comments?
SRO, how much percent are we paying of that as a district?
When I met with the city manager on that, they had some changes they wanted to make as well. And we talked about what other districts are paying, and I believe Turlock does a flat fee, and then and ours is very equal, so it's basically a flat fee of the 162. So depending on what officer they choose, we're paying them 162. So, but it's right in line with what Patterson is paying for one officer as well.
Any other questions for Ms. Tapia? Thank you, Mom, for all your hard work, okay? I know you put a lot of time and effort into that. Item 8, the consent calendar. The consent calendar items are routine in nature, usually do not require board discussion. Individual items may be removed by board members and presented for discussion and separate action. The consent calendar will be adopted by a roll call vote. Could I get a motion to approve the consent calendar as listed?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Rivas. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Strudy. Ms. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Mr. Walk? Aye. Mrs. Strudy?
Aye.
Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
And Mr. Corral votes aye.
Oh, yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
I'd just like to point out that in informational discussion items, item F, you have your first reading of board policies, so we'll bring those back to the next meeting for the second reading and approval. Thank you.
And those are all in the board backup file as well, too.
There's a guide sheet provided as well.
Item 9, action items. Action item A, approval of 26-27 consolidated application for category funding. Ms. Tapia?
So this application is intended for all of our title funding. We get upwards of $1 million in title funding. This is a procedural thing that we have to do annually and present it to the board. This application has actually been submitted, so we are just seeking your approval to be able to accept those funds.
Any questions for action item A? No. Can I get a motion for action item A, approval of 26-27 consolidated application for categorical funding?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Rivas. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Rudy. Ms. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Mr. Walk? Aye. Mrs. Rudy?
Aye.
Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
And Mr. Cabral votes aye. Action item B, approval of leave of absence for Mary Cruz Alvarez Cortez for the 26-27 school year. Can I get a motion for action item B?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Mrs. Rudy. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Rivas. Ms. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Mr. Walk? Aye. Mrs. Rudy?
Aye.
Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
Mr. Cabral votes aye. Action item C, approval of provisional internship permit for Ana Karen Jimenez. Could I get a motion for action item C?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Rivas. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Rudy. Mrs. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Mr. Walk? Aye. Mrs. Rudy?
Aye.
Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
And Mr. Cabral votes aye. Action item D, approval provisional internship permit for Yvonne Lee. Could I get a motion for action item D?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Mrs. Rudy. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Rivas. Ms. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Mr. Walk? Aye. Mrs. Rudy?
Aye.
Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
And Mr. Cabral votes aye. For action item E, we have a couple speakers for tonight. Approval of a memorandum of understanding for the Newman-Crows Landing Unified School District and the City of Newman School Resource Officer position for the school year 26-27. Ms. Arnett, would you like to speak?
Thank you. Good evening. President Cabral, board members, Mr. Rudy, Ms. Gonzalez, Mr. Walk, Mr. Rivas, Superintendent Justin Pruitt, Assistant Superintendent Mr. Kano, welcome to Newman-Crows Landing, and you will look so good in purple. Mrs. Fox, Mrs. Tapia, and Ms. Murillo. Thank you. My name is Bernice Arnett. I'm here as a community member, but also as a very proud retired, not tired, but retired Newman-Crows Landing school nurse, a district school nurse for about 19 years. It took 3 retirements, but I finally did it. And I'm here on a positive note, okay? I don't want you to think I'm up here grumbling, because I've heard a lot of wonderful things today. And it has to do with the theme that I came to you with, okay? First of all, I really respectfully request the board to approve the SRO contract for coverage. We need that person there on Wednesday, definitely. I realize there's probably going to be some changes, and we have to go with what we have. With that being said, if by chance Officer Lopez is not returning, I would publicly like to thank him for his time and his dedication. He and I worked together for many years. Actually, I worked with all the SROs. They were all great. And they were my backup. I was one nurse. They were one big police officer. Thank goodness. But I really would like to thank him for his years of service and dedication to the school district. I can personally attest his positive influence with our students and families and willingness to always be a true first responder. And I will tell him that when I see him next time, because it's important. Secondly, and this is the part I don't want you to grumble at me, I would respectfully ask the board to seek a very amicable working relationship with our city. I heard so many wonderful things tonight about the community did this, the community did that. And we do have a great community, and we do have a great city. And I know in the past there's been some issues, but we need to put those aside. We are 2 great entities. We have a great district. I will say that until I take my last breath. We have a great city. Born and raised here, so I'm going to stick up for our city, right? So take these 2 good powers and let's work together. I believe we have a 2+2 committee. There are board members, 2 board members are on it with 2 council people, superintendent, city manager. And I think we can really wipe the slate clean and make it work, because we need our community. They have supported us through every bond that I ever worked on. We built a school, we built all kinds of neat things. We've got a beautiful track, we've got a pool, we've got things that other communities don't have. So let's not toss that away. Let's be positive. I honestly mean that. Let's be positive and let's do good things for our kids and our community, because our parents have trusted us with their children, right? And we need to make sure that they understand that we will be trustworthy, we will communicate with them. I'm talking like I'm still working, huh? But it's so important. It's so important. Communication is so important. And we need to keep that trust going for us. And that is so important. The district is probably the largest employer in our city, right? So again, let's put those 2 together for the benefit of our children, our families, our community in general. The activities of one affects the activities of the other. So let's make that a very positive effect. Thank you so much. And the board, I appreciate very much what you do. It's not an easy job. We just didn't tell you that when we asked you to run. Thank you.
Christy Diaz?
Just bear with me because I'm winging it. So most of you are familiar with me because I'm no stranger to the podium here. But for those of you that are new, my name is Christy Diaz. I'm sure this won't be the last time you see my face here. I would be a lie to say I was, really upset on what I seen on social media. But I am grateful that Pruitt was really fast acting on the poor wording that was put out there. I do trust you guys to do what's best, though I would love to see Lopez return because he has such an amazing relationship with our community. I know that you guys are going to do what's best for our community, and I just want to say thank you for allowing me to have a platform to speak my mind when I do have concerns and I feel seen and heard, where it's kind of empty, where there's not very many people that wanted to be, social media keyboard warriors, and then not be here to actually vocally speak with and, have their concerns addressed. So I just wanted to say thank you for giving me a platform to be able to speak my mind openly and know that I'm going to be heard and seen and that you guys are going to do what's best for our community.
Thank you. And just a couple little pieces of information on the SRO. It was one of the things that was identified that what we were paying for was not what we were getting. So in order for us to get out of the current contract that we currently have that automatically renews on a certain date, we had to cancel it, right? We looked at 7 different school districts in the local area, and we were paying the most out of all 7, and we're the smallest. So what we were paying for was not what we were getting. So it gave us opportunity to end that contract, to come up with a new contract that we'll be approving here later on tonight at a lot cheaper price for the same service. So we're glad the city was able to work with us. I'm not gonna say who's at fault for the communication or the cat getting out of the bag, but like you said, social media is sometimes a bad thing, right? So, all right, action item E, approval of minimum understanding, the Newman-Crows Landing Unified School District and the City of Newman School Resource Officer for the 26-27 school year. Could I get a motion for action item E?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Mrs. Rudy. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Gonzalez. Mrs. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Mr. Walk?
Aye.
Mrs. Rudy?
Aye.
Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
Mr. Cabral votes aye. Action item F, we have one speaker tonight. Ms. Andrade, would you like to come up to the podium?
Good evening, board members, Superintendent Pruitt, Mr. Cano. Welcome to our first meeting. We'll see how it goes. My name is Maria Andrade. I am the current president of Newman-Crows Landing Teachers Association, and I'm here tonight because I am concerned, along with our leadership, our NCLTA leadership, regarding the new position of Coordinator of Student Support and New Teacher Development. We looked into the description of this job, which didn't exist until a few days ago, number one. And when we did find the description, we found some things that really bothered us and made us concerned. One of them was that part of the description has this coordinator working with special education students or with special education teachers. My question is, what is the authorization of this person to work with special education teachers? We currently have a director of special education with a PhD. And that's all she does is with special education. And so my question is, why are we going to duplicate that? Another duplication that we found was one of the jobs was for mentoring new teachers, which, by the way, we got up to the last week was 12 teachers. But mentoring new teachers, we already have an existing program. It's the induction program that we get through Stanislaus County of Education. It's already in the budget where we pay induction support teachers, which are our amazing veteran teachers that take young new teachers under their wing and guide them, help develop their skills, help practices that they will use in class. We already have that. We've been doing it for over 20 years with the county. We have an amazing coordinator at our site at YOLO. Angela Makovich has been amazing in working with the induction support teachers, those teachers who are taking in the new teachers. Why are we paying? Why are we going to go outside of a program that already exists? That's my question. And then later on, the few days, we started investigating more of what this grant really was intended for. Because the intent of this grant looks very different from the description of what is being given to you guys today. So I know earlier today, my amazing Vice President, Elsa Juarez, sent you a link to the actual grant itself. But I do want to cover a couple of topics on this grant and why I say that this grant is not being used for its true intention or its original intention. So just give me a second. So this grant, and for the sake of this presentation, I'm going to be using the abbreviation LEA. LEA stands for Local Educational Agencies. So when I use that, that's what that means, and that's basically districts. So number one, we asked, how long do we have to spend for this grant? And we have until June 30th, 2029. This is a one-time monies grant. I'm going to start off with that. So this is not a recurring grant. This is something that's only going to happen one time. So what is the allowable uses for this particular grant, or the funds for this grant? So I want to start off with, it expands career pathways and dual enrollment efforts consistent with the master plan for career education. Another one, develop and expand teacher recruitment and retention strategies. We retain our teachers. As you can see, we got teachers that come back. But that's what the mentoring program and the induction program does. It helps retain those teachers. Another one, a third one, provide standard-aligned professional development for teachers on the mathematic framework for California public schools. And finally, provide standard-aligned professional development for teachers on the English language arts, English language development framework, and the literacy roadmap, including strategies to support literacy for English learners. And as someone who teaches ELD newcomers, who is part of the ELD program at her site, and someone who doesn't have curriculum for her students, I and the other teachers have to put together supplemental material for that. Getting some professional development will be helpful, would be helpful. Again, we don't even have curriculum. Next one. Can funding be used for salaries, classified or certificated? And the answer is yes, it can be. Can funding be used to pay staff a one-time bonus? Given the flexibility provided for these funds to meet the specific needs of each LEA, allowability may vary by context. So basically saying yes. If we can word it right, absolutely. This can be for our teachers. Can funding be used, again, for one-time bonuses? Flexibility. It's there, again, for our teachers. Can these funds be used to pay mentoring stipends? Which, by the way, I forgot to mention that besides the induction program, we have a mentoring program. That so if teachers are not in the induction program, but they're still new teachers, we give them support. This district already gives them support. So no new teacher is ever without support in this district. So the question goes back again. Can these funds be used to pay mentoring stipends? Again, funds for mentoring stipends may be allowable. So I ask, and I hope, that my school board in front of me looks at this link and reviews what is the intention of this grant. In a time right now when we want to retain teachers, because that's what I hear from this district, we should be doing everything we can to make sure we are paying our teachers. This is where I'm coming from. Yes, I'm a teacher too. But my brothers and sisters in education, we need to be paid. And this will help us. This will help. And again, how much of this grant is going to be funding this position that is being proposed in front of you? It's not fully funded. It is 1/3 of that grant is going to come, 1/3 of that pay is going to come from this grant. And then who is going to flip the bill for the 2/3? We are. And once that money is gone, will that position be gone? Or we will be continuing to have to pay what, according to what's being proposed again on the pay scale, what is that? The lowest is going to be $136,559 to possibly up to $158,077 plus health benefits. Just a reminder, better benefits than any teacher is getting currently. So I leave you with this. Is this the best use of this grant? Is the intention of this grant being used? Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other comments from the board on action item F?
What was the identified gap and need for the position?
This is an additional support to what we already do, so it is to make our systems even better and stronger. But I think Heather also can speak to what duties she would have as well as her supervisor.
All right. Good evening, Superintendent Pruitt, President Cabral, members of the board, and community members. So the coordinator of student support and new teacher development position will be an asset to our district. Some of the responsibilities are current gaps within our system that we've identified the past few years, looking at our school-wide data, looking at our just many of our systems. So one of them, when it comes to our new teacher support and coaching, so when we did the LCAP and we self-evaluated every year, like we evaluated each category. And the teachers in the regular classrooms, like we got a high score for math, for ELA, and all of those things. And then the one where it was like teacher professional development, coaching, access, and support, it was a 2. With the elimination of the coordinators, that wasn't something that I felt like I was actually able to support teachers like I had in the past. With the elimination of the coordinators, and I'm stuck in state and federal programming, assessment and accountability, and curriculum, that there was an actual gap in teacher support. And we are very grateful for our BITSA providers, our mentor teachers. They are invaluable peers to our teachers, but they're also teaching at the same time that the teachers are teaching. And most districts do have some level of instructional coaching, coordinators, directors, some layer of support for teachers to kind of get in there, teach some lessons, offer some support that's not evaluative, where sometimes they don't feel comfortable. A new teacher doesn't always feel comfortable to go to their principal and say, hey, I don't know how to do this, or I'm not sure, and so having somebody come in and say, let me teach a lesson for you. When I was a principal at Von Renner, we had 3 coaches at that time. We had a math coach, an ELA coach, and a technology coach. And as a principal and to the teaching staff, that was an invaluable resource to see them come in. It didn't even involve me. It wasn't about supervision. It was like, get in and give the teachers some help and a lifeline. In addition to BITSA and mentor support, we have MTSS that needs some support around intervention, how to support with at-risk students. It's just kind of one of those gaps that our principals don't always have time to get in the weeds of that, and to be able to support our system, looking at our kids that are at risk in the red, our kids that are almost there, and how to improve those systems. A new thing that's come up the past few years is the number of PIPs and STIPs that we have. So we have our so many PIPs and STIPs, those teachers, right, that aren't fully credentialed, and we need somebody who is going to come alongside them to get them in line to get their credentials fast. We have some that have been on a PIP or a STIP and doing whatever for 4 or 5 years, and it's not necessarily on my radar to get them fast-tracked or even HRs. There's just a lot of responsibilities between the assistant superintendent responsibility and mine, where we have people on PIPs and STIPs for too long. And so this is somebody who can sit there, not only help them instructionally, but also making sure we get them well on their way to becoming fully credentialed. They need to pass the RECA, and they need some support with that, those types of things. Another thing that's going to be a big responsibility of the student support new teacher development position is we have those differentiated assistance plans, right? The DA plans that I've talked about. Last year was with English learners. This year it's with special education. And when our district met with the county, we identified what is this gap with special education? What do we need to do? Because we do have program specialists. Obviously, we have Dr. Souza, who's amazing, overseeing the department. But there's this lack when we have all these new teachers come in with just instructional practices, understanding how standards work, all the instructional pieces to get them to understand their grade span. So a special education teacher in K-5, this position isn't helping them with the special education lane. This position's helping them with instructional strategies and with standards. It's not the special education lane. They get that support from the special education department. So the DA plans, program support, instructional strategy support, with a focus on improving outcomes for English learners and students with disabilities, because those are the two subgroups where we sometimes don't meet targets. So in my former role, and I shared this in the past few meetings, in my former role I was Director of Elementary Education. We had a Director of Secondary Education. We've had, before that, I was a Teacher Student Support Coordinator. And so when you eliminate all of those things, I'm going to keep our district in compliance. I'm going to take care of LCAP, state and federal programs, assessment and accountability, and curriculum. But there is a gap of PD support and that level of teacher support for coaching and instructional strategies that I think that this position would help enhance the current system to fill in the gaps of support which have been lacking in the absence of a coordinator. And then also just to I want to, speak also to Senora Andrade. If you need any curriculum, please let me know, because we work with all the Spanish curriculum at YOLO and the high school. If there's something you're lacking, send me a list. We will get you whatever you needed. I'm very much under the assumption you have all the curriculum you need, and there's alignment with YOLO's Spanish department and the high school Spanish department. So we are not anticipating anyone in our district, it doesn't have curriculum. So that's something that is a huge part of my job, that I'll make sure that everybody has what they need. And we wouldn't take this out of the general budget. This is a grant funded thing that I think we'll be grateful for to fill some of the needs to enhance what we already have going on.
Thank you for the comments, ma'am.
Yeah, I'd like to say something first, because I'm just kind of frustrated. What you described as a credential program, that's why people go to a credential program, to be trained to be a teacher, and yet you want PIPs and STIPs who have no training, who are not credentialed, to then be trained. They're still not going to have a credential, and they're going to have to go through a credential program. So why are we doing all that? Why are we paying for that? we should be encouraging people who are on PIPs and STIPs to go into an intern program, to go and get their credential, then apply for a job. But I mean, the district's making a choice to hire PIPs and STIPs. We could also make a choice of going and hiring credentialed teachers. We don't have to have this position. We don't have to do all this stuff. So that's my frustration. Sorry.
I would just like to say that everything that Heather just described, let me go to the mic, yeah.
Just want to say that everything that Heather just described, the duties, can be done by a TOSA, which is a teacher on special assignment, for much less money. Again, I've been here at every board meeting. You guys know this. I'm here all the time, and I listen to the budgets and the issues when it comes to money. And we know that, you know, we're trying to figure this out together. And I'm trying to do, you know, we're teachers too. We're trying to do our part too to help with all of this. And so again, everything that was just said right now to be done can be done by TOSAs. And we've had those kinds of teachers before in this district. And that's my question, is why are we going to have to then create a district administrative position?
I'll make a comment really quick. I usually don't get in the middle of all this stuff, but I am going to say something. I think at some point we are forgetting that, I think she's still here. Miss Arteaga was at one point a teacher. She was a teacher, and I will say she was a wonderful teacher. And my kids were fortunate enough to have had a relationship with her during the time my kids were going through school. And I think at some point we're forgetting that she was a teacher. And I think at some point we are also forgetting that there were so many positive things that were just said about our district, and we are now going to let this frustration get the best of what good just happened in here. It is frustrating, it is hard, and it is very difficult, and I understand your frustration, but at the same time, we can't just base things off of just teachers. There are teachers, there's maintenance department. I have not seen the maintenance people in here complaining about getting a freaking raise, which God bless those souls, they need a raise. But anyways, I have not seen the maintenance workers here complaining about the jobs that they've got to do. And I'm sorry, I keep hearing teachers, teachers, teachers. I love you teachers, kudos to you. You guys do so much for our students. God bless you guys for dealing with it, for being their second parent in that class. But at some point, we all got to work together. And we are getting very picky and nitpicking at this, nitpicking at that. And I wasn't ignoring you when you were up there. I was looking for that link that Ms. Juarez sent. There was no link sent to me. So I can't go off of that. And I will gladly show you my phone, but there was no link. So I can't vouch for that. I was shown paperwork. I was shown comments. I was shown responses. I asked comments. I phoned. I was on texting, I was messaging, I wanted all possible information on this thing, and I got all the information. I have my information about all the questions I was asked, and I have a clear understanding of what this grant is. I mean, we're saving, we're trying to work with everybody, and nobody's happy. Nobody is ever happy. And I'm sorry we can't make everybody happy, but gosh darn it, we are trying. We are definitely trying. And I'm speaking for everybody. It's just very frustrating that we just can't work together. We just can't work together.
I'll say a couple things and then we're going to move on. As far as Mr. Walk's comments of the reason why we have PIPs and STIPs and of things of that nature, I literally asked Dr. Ceja 2 months ago at our June board meeting, or maybe it was May, I can't remember the month. How many people applied for these positions where we had these PIPs and STIPs programs? 4 people applied for 4 jobs, and they were all on an internship or a PIP program. So when we're only getting those individuals that don't have a credential, what do we do? The other alternative that Dr. Ceja said was we continue to pay a long-term substitute, which is a lot more money, right? And not only that is we have our own people that go through these programs that are very successful. You know what I mean? I mean, look at how many of the art teachers here that came up through the Numa schools and now here teaching art. And I've said it 100 times. I believe in promoting our own people, right? So, and my last comment is you were going good until the last 30 seconds of your speech, right? And this is the driving force. This was to talk about the job description for this position. And you made it very clear at that podium in the last 30 seconds when you said this phrase, teachers need to get paid. That's the issue that I have. It's not about the job description. It's not about the person in the position, right? It's all about the dollar. We get it. Everybody needs to get their share, right? We get it, right? But to come up there and say all that stuff, and then the last 30 seconds was their hidden agenda of saying teachers need to get paid, right? That was the driving force, right? It was to talk about the job description, right? So that's the issue that I had. With that being said, is there any other comments for action item F? All right, thank you. I need a motion to approve action item F, the job description for coordinator of student support and new teacher development. Could I get a motion for action item F?
I will make a motion.
Thank you, Mrs. Rudy. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Rivas. Ms. Gonzalez?
Aye.
Mr. Walk?
No, again, that's what a credential program's for. Let's encourage them to go there.
Mrs. Rudy?
Aye.
Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
Mr. Cabral votes aye. Action item G, approve appointment of Roselia Arteaga as coordinator of student support and new teacher development. Can I get a motion for action item G?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Rivas. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Cerruti. Ms. Gonzalez?
I just want to clarify, G is for Mr. Kano's position. I have,
No.
no, wait.
Everything
got
Oh,
moved.
they redid it.
Correct.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Yes, I.
Mr. Walk?
No. Again, felt like we should have been on a hiring freeze due to, our budget. Again, we're at like 4.97% in reserves. We need to be at that 8%. Don't understand what we're doing.
Mrs. Cerruti?
Aye.
Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
Mr. Cabral? Aye. Action item G, approval assistant superintendent contract for Adam Kano. Can I get a motion for action item G?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Rivas. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Cerruti. Ms. Gonzalez?
I want to acknowledge that I've heard very positive things about the work Mr. Kano is doing. And my vote tonight is not intended to diminish that work or his value to the district. My concern is specifically with the decision to place his position at step 4. Given our current financial position and the conversations we have had as a board about the budget and our reserves, I believe we need to be especially thoughtful about the long-term fiscal impact of the compensation decisions we make. For me, I have not heard enough to feel comfortable that starting at step 4 is financially prudent at this time. My concern is not with Mr. Kano personally, it is about whether this level of starting compensation is the right fiscal decision for the district in our current circumstances. For that reason, while I respect the work being done and wish him continued success in the role, I will be voting no on his contract.
Thank you. Mr. Walk?
I'm going to abstain.
Ms. Cerruti?
Aye.
Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
Mr. Cabral votes aye. Action item H, approval of authorized agents. We are just taking off Dr. Sehal.
Remove Dr. Seha and add Mr. Kano.
Okay, can I get a first motion for action item H?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Rivas. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Cerruti. Ms. Gonzalez?
Aye. Oops. Aye.
Mr. Walk?
Aye.
Mrs. Cerruti?
Aye.
Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
Mr. Cabral votes aye. Anybody have any future agenda items for section 10?
I would just like to call for a study of the budget for the board to go deeper into the budget and trying to figure out how we're going to get back to 8%.
Okay.
I had mentioned to Mr. Pruitt that I would like to see our vendor that's actually on the agenda today, Community Hospice, come do a presentation.
Do you want that presentation at a board meeting or with the extended cabinet, the administrators, so they know what services are provided?
If they're available to come to a board meeting, I think that would be nice. If they can only come to the cabinet, that's okay too.
Anything else? All right, section 11, superintendent report.
Yeah, I just want to, I know that Carolyn made a request about the swim. Oh, sorry, my microphone. Carolyn made a request about the swim, and on the face value, it sounds perfect, but we need to make sure that we follow the CIF rules. So if we just say, yeah, it's a community swim if you're 18 and over, but if you're on the swim team, you can't, then that limits it for CIF. So it actually has to be a true open swim for those kids. So I would like direction from the board to direct the high school to be able to create that setting so the kids can have the open swim. Because we want to make sure we don't violate the CIF policy and then they show up with not being able to compete. So, yep. The next one is we finished our extended cabinet workshop. We were able to go to Chrisig, and they gave us a room to be able to do the work in there, and it was very beneficial. It was very positive, much like this board meeting. Just it was a really good meeting, and everybody walked away feeling energized for the year and ready to go. I want to thank M&O for the summer projects. Matt, you did a great job summing everything up, and I have to admit, this guy never takes a break. If I can't find him, he's in a ditch somewhere fixing a pipe or digging another hole. So amazing work that he's done this summer. Absolutely incredible. And then our food services, thank you for your summer feeding. Again, phenomenal what you guys do for our community. And the Back to School Festival. I know it wasn't quite the same showing that we've always had, but at the same time, there was the Munchies games for our younger football program. So all those students were out. Plus, I hear there was like 4 travel soccer teams all had games. So we were competing with some other events going on at that time. But I do feel that a lot of parents got a lot of questions answered, and it provides such a great service for our community. I also want to give a shout out to our Beyond the Bell. Is Allison here still, or was she? We just got a request from one of the Sacramento news channels that they can come and highlight the Beyond the Bell program for one of their specials. So that will be coming up as well. And again, consistently keep continuing getting the best of 209 as well. So great program, and we're looking. And just a reminder on that, there will be no Beyond the Bell that first week. So it's minimum days, but so you're going to have to make plans to pick up your kiddos from school. So be ready for that. And then I would like to just some direction from the board on bringing back Officer Edgar Lopez maybe to the next board meeting and kind of giving him some recognition for what he has done for our district over the years. He has been by far the best SRO we've ever had. So
make it happen.
And to everybody else, welcome back.
All right, item 12, board reports, Mr. Walk.
Yeah, I hope our students and staff have a great start to the school year on Wednesday.
Okay. Mrs. Strudy?
Just everybody, welcome back. There's a lot of changes. We're hoping for a positive year. Another thing, Matt Vargas, there you are. I just want to say what a wonderful job to see you out there almost every single day, dropping my daughter off for conditioning and seeing your group out there, not just at the high school, but just in all the schools in general. The schools look great. They're all working hard. So thank you for keeping all the jobs going and keeping them on track. Another thing, Mr. Kano, you look wonderful in purple. So I'm excited. I'm excited to have you on board. Just thank you for applying, and we just hope that you can help shape up the district to its best potential. And Ms. Bernice, I'm with you with the community. There was a meeting where I did say that we as a district needed to work with our community, and I think that's been lost. Being born and raised here as well, The community was a big part of my education. And I think that's been lost, and we are really trying to get them back, but it's up to them. You know, we can only try so much, but it's pretty much up to them. And with the SRO, I wish we had a say on who we get. I wish we can say, hey, we want Officer Lopez back, but we don't have a say in that. But we are just very thankful that the new chief is and was willing to work with us. I know there was all this chaos and all this disgruntled people, but it was never up to us to end it. It was just the way things worked out and the way things happened and the wording and the communication. It wasn't what was supposed to happen. But we will see who they give us, and it's just up to the new chief now. I mean, he's got the last say, and you know, we can't make that decision for them. They have to make it, and we could only hope that, I mean, nobody will ever replace Lopez, but I mean, at least we have an SRO coming. Again, to everybody, I mean, it's a fresh start. So let's help these kids get on track and, you know, make the best of it. And Miss Murillo, I'm happy that you're the student rep because you're going to do great. And then as far as my appreciation for teachers and guests or whoever's sitting in these chairs, I purchased gift cards. So I don't know which chairs they were put under. So there's 4 cards. So I don't know which chairs have them. So if you're sitting on a chair and it has it, they are yours. So they're under your chairs. And there's 4 of them.
There's 4. So you might want to start doing some musical chairs.
All right, let us finish the meeting before we go on the treasure hunt. Mr. Rivas.
Welcome back. Tomorrow's the welcome back breakfast. I would have to say the art program, when I was in school, I think Mr. Souza, Mrs. Esquivas probably had the same teacher I had. I think it was Mr. Lytle. I don't know if you guys remember him. Who else said that? Yeah. The ceramics, mine didn't look like that. My son just recently graduated, and he came back with some great ceramics. Like, it's even though doing it at YOLO. FFA did a great presentation. FFA keeps getting better and better every year. I'm looking forward to this new year with FFA. Mr. Vargas, I know I said in year 1 when I was on the board, let's get it going. I'm in year 4, but 4 more years. Hopefully it'll take 4 more years until it's done. But I'm really looking forward to it, and I'll be there for demo day. And welcome back, guys.
I have a couple things tonight. The school year starts officially this week, so welcome back to all the students and the staff. Please be very mindful of the safety and the pedestrians on all the kids on the roadways and stuff. So do our due diligence. Happy with the city of Newman to give us the contract for the continued services of the SRO. Thank you to Mr. Vargas. I don't know how he does it. He works more than me, 9 days a week. Every single day I go to the high school and he's in some ditch on a tractor, getting muddy, dirty, the whole 9 yards. He doesn't take a day off. I showed up 6 a.m, he's already on a tractor wearing a straw hat. So I appreciate you, Matt. I mean, I really do. I've known you for a long time, and there's no other person in this community I don't want in charge of our kids' maintenance for the program. And then I just want to say congratulations to Mr. Souza on becoming the Oristema principal. Well deserved. Ms. Arteaga, you were here. I don't know where you're at. Congratulations on your promotion as well. Welcome, Mr. Kano, to the Newman Crows Landing area. I got a couple Warrior shirts you can have. You can wear some of my son's old ones. And I still say this to this day, and I said it since day one I've been here. It's his pride in the organization to allow our members and our employees to promote and move up through the ranks. I get it. We take chances on people that have been here. But let me tell you a story that happened last month. Randy Richardson retired from the Newman Police Department. Okay? So everybody knows Randy Richardson. And let me tell you, he was one hell of a police chief, right? And guess what position he was in when he got the chief's job? He was a patrol sergeant, right? And he even said that in his interview when he retired. I'm glad the city of Newman took a chance on me. And that guy is one of the best police officers I've ever known and worked with ever. And I've been in emergency services for over 32 years, right? So it says something to provide to our staff and our faculty and our employees to go out and get their credentials, improve their educational background, move whatever positions they can obtain and reach, and so for us to support that. Why would we not, right? Like, we have a lot of people that work for us in this district that did exactly that and chose that path, right? And like I said, it's our community. There's no I in NCLUSD. There's a us. There's not an I, right? And that's a tough pill to swallow for some people. And I'm sorry, that's reality, right? We are doing everything out here. And, a lot of, I hear a lot of no votes, and I hear there's other ways we can save money. You have an email. Send in those ideas, right? Every single time we talk about it, right? Send in the ideas. What can we come up with, right? Unfortunately, it always comes down to cutting more people, right? People that I grew up in this town with, right? People that I see every day or on an emergency call. Oh, hey, I've known you for 20 years, but I can't really tell you you're going to get let go. I don't want to do that, right? Nobody should have to do that, right? So I'd rather be in the red for a little bit and try to fight and hopefully that, this generation of parents have some more kids to put in our classrooms, because that's what all the money comes down to, is our enrollment, right? The reason why it goes up and it goes down because kids come and go. We can't predict that. That's uncertainty. That's just changing, right? We're going to gain some, we're going to lose some, okay? We make these cuts and move these, it's going to be a constant change, right? But you're right, we do have to work together, Sorry I get a little worked up sometimes because it irks me, right? I go down to the DO for 7-8 hours of my day. I ain't getting paid, right? I could be home with my family, my kids. Well, they're all old now, they don't want to see me anyway. But that, that's why I'm here. I don't have any kids in the school district anymore. I'm almost 50 years old. I'm still out there coaching youth football. Youth football. That's where I first met Matt, because he wouldn't water the field, right? So I always complained to him, right? My kid hasn't played youth football for 7 years, but I'm still out there, right? I am fighting every single day for every single position, every single department in this whole school district as a whole, right? Once again, guys, welcome to the team. Well deserved. Keep at it. Make us proud. I know you do the job well. Ms. Gonzalez?
Good evening, everyone. I just want to say, Mr. Cabral, I did my part. I had 3 kids, so hopefully, hopefully that adds to our numbers. As we begin another school year, I've been reflecting on a theme that stayed with me over the last couple weeks, leaning in with curiosity. Recently, I attended an Inclusion and Belonging Summit. A lot of you are probably wondering what the heck that is. And one session on curiosity has really lingered with me. The speaker described meeting someone whose life and worldview were very different from hers. Instead of trying to convince one another, they asked questions. They chose curiosity, and through that, they found shared values beneath their differences. It reminded me that understanding doesn't require agreement. It requires a willingness to listen. That lesson came up again for me when I recently read Bloom, a memoir written by one of our own staff members. It was actually gifted to me on my birthday. Thank you, Mr. Vargas. And reading her story made me realize how much of another person's life we simply don't see. Each of us carries experiences that shape how we see the world, how we respond, and how we show up. Those experiences don't simply disappear when we walk through the doors of work. As the board, I know we won't always agree on every decision, as exemplified tonight, or on exactly how to get where we want to go. We bring different experiences and different perspectives, but ultimately we share one passion and one common purpose: our students. The very fact that each of us chose to serve on this board reflects that commitment. So, as we begin this school year, my invitation is simple. Let's carry that posture of curiosity with us. Let's ask one more question before assuming, listen a little longer before concluding, And remember that there is often a story behind a perspective that we don't yet understand. If we can lead with curiosity, I believe we can strengthen not only our relationships with one another, but also the sense of belonging, empathy, and understanding that we want for every student and every employee in our district. I hope we all have a wonderful school year, and thank you.
One last thing, I did forget somebody. Mrs. Cope, I forgot you. Congratulations on your promotion. Lead hunt well. That'll conclude tonight's meeting. We'll see you next month. Meeting's adjourned at 8:07 p.m.